Okay, and we are recording. So welcome back, anybody who's watching. This is the second video I've ever done. Doing a bit of trading. So in the first video I went through the European session, waiting on the US session to open now. And yeah, so basically the whole reason that I am doing these videos is to use them as like a video journal, something I can revert back to after I've traded a session, have a look at my trades, see what I could have done differently, better. And already, just having done one video, that's already starting to prove to be quite useful. So during the EU session, I took a trade on the FTSE, a short trade according to my strategy rules, which basically dictates that I take a trade in the direction of a breakout of a certain candle. So specifically here it was this candle that I was looking at, and I took a long position right at the break underneath this line as per my strategy, at which point the market turned around immediately and came straight back up and stopped me out. I had my stop loss over here where this pinky purple line is. And I had a look at the trade and I was watching the video and I thought to myself, here's a good example of where I can improve. And just to run through it, if we look at my signal bar here, the high of this bar was 387.8. My stop loss was at 388.3. The next candle came up and stopped me out, and its high was 388.5. If I, and again this is in hindsight, but if I had not placed such a tight stop loss on this trade, say I had my stop loss about a point higher, 89.3 thereabout, I would have been okay. I wouldn't have been stopped out. So relevant to this trade? Yes, absolutely. Relevant to the next trade? Maybe, maybe not. But it's something that I can learn from, because I'll be, I think, mindful of that next time. Maybe not have such a tight stop loss using this specific strategy. And I mean, if I increase the stop loss by a point, we're talking about the difference of $1. So something that I will be mindful of going forward. So basically, just to kind of sum it up, I'm doing these videos as kind of my own personal digital journal, if you will. Kind of go back after the session and scrutinize my trades during the session. In the previous video, I explained I'm not trading a very big account. It's only $810. So we're down about $9 on the day. Not a big deal. But basically, I'm using these videos as a way to kind of hold myself accountable. And I mean, I know exactly what my weaknesses are at this point in time, and that definitely falls along the lines of psychology, being afraid when I'm in a winning position, cutting the trade short, not letting it potentially reach its maximum potential. So that's something I'm trying to work on. So we'll see how the US session goes. I'm based in Mauritius, so my chart times might be a little bit different to everybody else's. But basically we've got about 5 or so minutes until market open. I thought actually quite a cool thing to do was, look, I'll be honest with you, I'm not looking to grow this channel by any substantial amount. If people watch me, great. If they don't, no big deal. But I did want to share one thing, in that I'm quite a fan of like daily quotes, inspirational quotes, but not just those normal cliche ones. I like the ones that hit you right in the middle of the forehead, the ones that make you kind of think about it the whole day and how it applies, if it applies at all. And I've tried to find ones that are related to trading. I'm going to try and do one every day, just as like an inspirational, thought-provoking exercise before entering the markets. So I found this one. Every battle is won or lost before it's ever fought. Big brain, very big brain. I think that speaks a lot to preparation, and preparation and trading is I think vital. Before you come to the market, you're doing prep work. You're looking at higher time frames, seeing what the market is doing as a whole, and also there's the mental preparation side of it. So psychologically, what are you doing to get your head in the game before you actually sit down at the computer screen to start trading? I have got a headache of note at the moment. So I am not actually sure as to whether or not I'm going to trade this session, because I'm finding it quite hard to concentrate, and that's not typically a very good thing when you are navigating the markets. So I'm going to observe. If an opportunity presents itself, I may trade, I may not trade. We will see. I can actually close out these European session charts now. I'm only going to look at Dow and Nasdaq. So I trade both the Dow and the Nasdaq on half a point size, purely because I don't have the equity to trade any bigger than that, and half a point is about as low as I can go on position size. So my strategy, well, it's not my strategy, but the strategy that I use is very bar dependent. So if it's a large volume candle, a lot of the times I won't enter because the risk profile is just too great. I have to have a stop on the other end of that candle. So sometimes in the Dow you can see these ginormous moves. What's that? 270 odd point move. And to have a stop loss on the other end of a candle like that is just not within my budget currently. So I'm not a professional trader by any stretch. I'm just a regular guy, just trying to navigate these markets as best as I can. And again, these videos are to hold myself accountable, to use as a educational tool for myself to come back and scrutinize my trades. I do journal a lot, just on paper. But I found sometimes if I revert back to specific areas in my journal and read about a specific trade that I took, I've got no visual context to look at, and then I usually have to open up the charts and then go and find the date, find the trade, find the time, and then look at it from there. But if I have a video with a date stamp, I can revert back to it quite easily. Don't know why I haven't done this before, to be very honest with you. I'm not all that clued up on how YouTube and OBS works, so I'm giving it a go. And we will see. So pretty much 1 minute to go here. I'm going to just put my line in so that I can identify the opening candle. As quickly as possible. I'm on the daily chart. I was just having a look at the daily chart because NASDAQ seems to be coming down off of its all-time highs, putting in like a little bit of a head and shoulders there. And now we are pushing back up kind of into this area. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back up kind of to, you know, 20071 and a bit above as a bit of a stop hunting maneuver, but who knows. Okay, so I'll go down to the 5-minute chart. If my chart decides to load, there we go. Okay, so markets are open. Let's see what happens. I've got the Earl Grey, so if you hear jingling, that's just my teaspoon in my teacup. Oh, and also just on a side note, if the sound goes out on the video, it's probably because I've muted the mic and I'm either sneezing or blowing my nose. So, just so you know. Right, so that's annoying. So I'm just having a look at what's going on, previous structure, that type of thing. Nothing too crazy. So again, I can't stress enough, I'm not giving any type of education or entertainment or anything like that. I'm not expecting these videos to be or to reach a wide audience. If they do, great. If they don't, oh well. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like me, love trading, don't have a lot of money, don't have a very big account, trying to better themselves within the industry. And if they come across my videos, they can see that they aren't alone out there. So a nice 120 point move right off the bat by the Dow. NASDAQ bouncing off of these previous lows over here. I don't like to trade the first bar of the open. It can be quite erratic. So I tend to just stay out of it, let the market settle a little bit first before it actually wants to decide on which direction it wants to go. If any direction at all, could also just range. Oh, right. Okay, yeah, so here's the account for those who haven't seen the first video. $810. This is my broker TD365. Tightest spreads, fixed spreads that I've managed to find. Really good broker, really enjoying them. Not the greatest charting platform, but as long as the trades are executed instantaneously, I've never seen slippage, and yeah, their spreads are really good. Transaction history. Hopefully we can get it up. This account started on $1,000, so it's been a bit of a wild ride. But my main problem is letting those profitable trades run while managing as best as possible. Okay, so first bar positive. And the Nasdaq, the Dow, also positive. Let's see what we get. See if I'm actually even going to take the trade. I don't know at this point. Going to have to see what kind of risk I'm working with first on the specific bar. Right now I feel as if I've been hit with a sledgehammer over the head. So pushing higher. Four one two oh two. Okay. I know we have got some news coming out. Unemployment claims. We've had at 4:30, but we've got manufacturing PMI at 6 o'clock. Again, my time zone is different. I'm currently in Mauritius. That is where I live, so it is going to be different for whoever is watching. But that is basically in about 20 minutes time, which is a bit of a stickler because that's kind of where my signal bars are setting up, and I don't necessarily want to be in a trade during news. But I'll see what the setup is doing a little bit closer and then make the decision. I'm not going to force myself into a trade. It's probably one of the worst things you can do. So I've named my channel Prior Bar Trading, and that's basically because I've named it after one of my favorite setups, and that's trading either a prior bar low or a prior bar high. So let's see over here, come down, hit this level. Market's gone just below and then pushed all the way back up. I really like that. And then obviously in a trending market, buying prior bar lows or prior bar highs, one of my favorite setups. So I thought I'd name my channel after that. If not, why not? And now we wait. Hmm. I wonder, I might just bar this up as a prior bar low. Quick scalp maybe. Hesitation stems from fear. But again, you can just see quickly it moves. And then of course the second time it comes down, you start kind of second guessing as to whether or not you want to actually enter. Because it gets down to this point, it rallies up a little bit, and for all you know, it's just like winding up to absolutely blitz its way down. So, like it's doing now. So yeah, good example there, I guess. Try and get it on the get it on the first attempt. But don't listen to me. I don't know too much about things like that. Hmm. Can hear my wife sneezing. I hope she's not getting sick as well. So a little bit more of a deep retracement as I would have liked on a prior bar, but the first touch would have been good. Couple point scalp, in and out. Not typically how I like to trade, but if the opportunity presents itself. Oof. away she goes. Yeah, you see, if it was like, if that was my signal bar, think I'd be sitting this one out, because on my teeny tiny little account balance, 79 point stop loss is slightly out of my reach. I may be a little bit uncomfortable with that. Don't think I'd manage sitting through that trade, regardless of my psychology at the time. Okay, so signal candle is starting to form. Start getting our lines in. And same on the Dow. Don't like it when these lines aren't perfectly straight. Like that. Okay, so on the signal candle, give myself a little bit of a buffer out of the way. So, simple enough strategy. Breaks this line. I'll look at going long. Breaks this line, I'll look at going short. On the next candle, obviously, not on this signal candle. But again, that puts us very close to the news. Yeah, very close. So my biggest issue at the moment is not allowing profitable trades to run. I can take a loss fine, as long as my risk is acceptable, but finding it quite difficult to, if the trade goes in my favor, finding it quite difficult to let those profits run. I don't trade with a target, I always trade with a stop loss, but still got a bit of fear when it comes to trades being in profit. I want to snatch at those earnings, you know. Bad habit, but and a difficult one to break. I'll manage the trade as much as possible, and I'm trying to get to a point where I start to add to winning trades, which is a lot easier said than done, especially on a small account. You know, if a position runs in your favor for a good couple of points and you add to it, basically just averaging out your position. So is something I need to build towards. I think I need to get a bit of a bigger account balance under my belt first though. So that's basically what I'm trying to work on, is just letting the trade run. Don't mind if it hits my stop loss. If it hits my stop loss, you know, agony over. But the worst is, one second, let me just see if we're going to get a signal here. What is our risk? 43. I don't know. Okay, well, on the ASRS we've kind of missed out, but we can still look at the SRS. It's in another couple of minutes. So what I was saying was, when the trade goes in my favor, I find it so difficult to let the thing run. I just want to get it to a point where I'm not in fear that I'm going to lose the profits realized on paper. You know, I try and get my stop loss to break even as quickly as possible. So I usually like to see the trade in my favor 10 to 15 points before I start moving stop losses. Either to break even, or depending on what's going on in the structure, just at a point where I've reduced my risk. But once at break even, I want to get to a point where I just let the trade play out. But at the same time, you know, on a small account, do you not want to take what you can get? That's what my brain tells me anyway. You know, the kind of the flip side to that is, if you exit the trade for whatever the profit is at the time, and then it continues in your favor for another 50, 60, 70 points, how do you feel after that? And I've been in that position quite a few times already, so I'm able to answer that question, and you don't feel very good. You feel like an idiot. So it's just actively trying to work on that. Look, don't get me wrong, if it gets to a point where the position is profitable and it's moving to a previous structure point, then I'm going to start looking at taking profits, because, you know, I don't want it to hit a previous low or a previous high, turn around and come back and stop me out for break even. But I don't want to exit the trade without a good enough reason, just off of it being fear driven. I know I've said that before in the previous video, but I'm just reiterating to myself. If this rallies a bit, I might look at a long position. So you see, that was my signal candle there on the Dow. 104 points worth of risk. I can't, no ways. I can't afford that, unfortunately. Even on half of a, you know, 0.5 position, still $50 on an $800 account. That's silly. if this sets up along, I might look at taking it. 42 points on half a position, so 21 $21 worth of risk. It's a little bit more acceptable. Still not ideal, but a little bit more acceptable. Based on my strategy, I should be taking that short. School run. That's a lot more risk. So, first time my child came in, I knew that was going to happen. He's nice enough to actually knock on the door at least. He's only 7. So, the other virtue of trading is patience. But I am long. Ah, these colors. I'm going to look at trying to get my stop loss up here as soon as possible. Yeah, there we go. Nice little break. I'm going to get my stop loss up here quite quickly, I think. Not that quickly. Let's give it a bit of space. What are we? 5, so that's 10. Yeah, now we're coming back. I think I was a little bit quick on the draw there with moving my stop loss. It's just let it ebb and flow the way that it wants to. Got a little bit too excited there with that breakout. It happened so quickly. But now it's coming all the way back down. So we'll probably be taken out for our original risk, which is okay. It happens. But, you know, on these quick movers, you never quite know. It can come back down and then push straight back up again. So I don't want to leave my stop loss there in case it did come back, take me out, and then shoot higher. If it comes all the way back here, that to me is signaling something else. So a little bit more room to play. Yeah, so that snapped back quite quickly. We got some sellers up here. What are we? 10, 11 in the red. Yeah, not looking too good. Real nice initial breakout, but then hit a clump of sellers and just came straight back down. Also, we've got news soon. Now. Like right now. 30 seconds time. Not ideal. So, did exactly what I didn't want to do. Get into a trade just before the news. But again, you know, trying to follow my strategy, saw that how quickly it pushed up. Thought let me get in and see if I could get my stop loss to break even quickly. I think this is going to kick us in the teeth. But that's okay. Yep, stopped out. Alright, what was the damage? $23. Now, do we flip the switch or not? I don't think so. I think I'll probably just take that loss and move on. See if we get something else setting up. Down, moving lower. Not going to act as though $23 doesn't hurt on a $800 account. Of course it does. But the whole idea is to not get hung on up on it. You know, it would have been easy to take that loss, say to myself, I'm flipping the switch, going short here, entering straight away without even thinking about it, just purely on emotions, and potentially be in another position that would be losing. So take the loss, stop, breathe, analyze, go from there. Still liking this long. That if you hear that, that's just my office chair that's making a bit of noise. Yeah, so if I look at can look at a school run here, but again the risk is quite substantial. Oof. Missed this move anyway, so you know, sometimes I don't even consider the Dow just because of my risk. So I'll forget it's even there at times. Come back, see what it's doing. Little bit range bound at the moment. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Short as per school run. Risk free. Let's see what we can get. This. Hmm. Give it space, give it space. Don't like this. I might take it there. Let's see if we can get a push maybe down to these lows. That's what we want to see. Very nice. Much better. Guarantee ourselves something at least. Not too much that it comes back, but let's see it try and get down to these lows. Nope, gonna come straight back up. And take us out, yes or no? I'm gonna close it up there. I think it's coming back. It's bouncing. Nice little breakout, but again, fear getting the best of me. Would have liked for it to come down to this area. Can still. It's gonna do it without me now. But it would have stopped me out at break even, so sometimes you gotta take what you can get. And it's hardly ever going to be right at the bottom. Another push. Oh, the Dow's just on its way. Would have been lovely. 93, 95 point move. It's just this risk, man. 180 points. No, can't do it. Can't do it. You know, even psychologically, this risk is a lot less. Well, when I say a lot less, it's still 80, nearly 90 points, but still find myself breathing quite rapidly until I can get that stop loss down to break even. So these are like all of the things that I have to work on. So if you found this video expecting to see a master trader, I think you're disappointed at this point. But I'd like to think that I represent more of the majority of traders out there, who are kind of in the same position as I am. Not a very big account size, trying to better every aspect of their trading. It's a down day, but you're going to have down days. It could have been a lot worse, I guess. Yeah, it's not great, but consider myself lucky when I've got risk profiles like this. But you know, once again, it's following your strategy, following your plan, having faith. Been listening to a lot of Mark Douglas lately. Talks a lot about trading psychology. Really, really good. Very insightful individual. Sadly not with us anymore, but yeah, very, very knowledgeable within the context of trading, and specifically trading psychology, which is undoubtedly the most difficult part of this whole game, is getting the mind right, getting the psychology in the right place. I mean, it must be the only industry where you can essentially make money and not have any skills. I mean, the prerequisite for you to make money in this is point and click. And the market can almost immediately go in your favor and make you money without having any prior knowledge of technical analysis, trading psychology. Look, obviously the flip side to that coin is it can also go against you, but the point is you literally don't have to have any skills in order to place a trade and see it go in your favor. The skill comes in where you have the trade go against you and how you manage that loser, how you manage your profitable trades. And that is where I struggle. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So we're trying to push lower on the Nasdaq, but we just can't seem to break this level. We don't even hover around there for very long before we get brought straight back up. I'd imagine there's a fair pool of buyers sitting down here. As for the Dow wants to take a trip to the downside. Also coming up against a bit of support over here. I'd imagine there's also a bit of a stack of buyers just under this level. At this level and just under it. You know, I will get to a stage where I will add to my repertoire trading these two strategies at the moment, and then obviously my favorite being the prior bar. But I'm just getting a bit used to doing this whole recording thing, and get a bit more comfortable with that, and then start looking at diversifying a little bit. I also don't want to be one of those types of traders that have a strategy for every tick move in the market. Stick to I'd say probably no more than three I think is a good number of strategies to kind of master, focus on solely. Jack of all trades, master of none type of scenario. Okay, so I've been recording for nearly an hour. I'm not going to sit around for too much longer. I just want to see if the Nasdaq can get down to this level and actually maintain what was that? 202. So it seems to be the theme of the day. Win, lose, win, lose. So, what are we down? Probably around $20. Not great, but not the worst. Again, don't dwell on it. Come back tomorrow fresh. It's a new day. It's a new session. And do everything exactly the same, except for not letting your winners run. We need to definitely work on that. But yeah, I'm going to be doing these videos twice a day, one during the European session and one obviously during the US session. I'm going to start doing it live. Just waiting for YouTube to allow me the ability. Apparently takes about 24 hours before you can start doing live streaming after you've just created a channel. So tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock my time, should be good to go. Leaves me about an hour to figure everything out before market opens, so should be enough time to get acquainted with how everything works on live streaming through YouTube. Should be fun. Yeah, looks like we're going to push lower. I don't unfortunately have a setup. This to me is kind of in no man's land, and well, I mean, no man's land, but it is sitting on this level. I just don't have the stomach for the risk on the Dow, unfortunately. As for the Nasdaq, we are coming back down. The support level over here. Just pop in a little line for reference, I think. Let's make it a green for support. I think we can take these two away. They're just cluttering up the page, so we've used them. No need for them anymore. Pop a little support line in here as well, I think, just for reference. Don't have to keep going like this every time I want to know where the support level is. And another bounce. Let's have a look at the half an hour. Yeah. I wonder. You know, that's why I tend not to sit for too long in front of the charts, because then I start going, well, what if it does this? You know? Start making things up. Because it could just do this. So I think that's kind of the key, is just stick to your strategy. Once the parameters of that has been met, whether you've taken the trade off of the strategy or not, pack it in, wait for the next day. It's kind of what I like with the whole situational analysis approach, well, specifically with this strategy, is I know that every day after the open I'm going to have an opportunity, whether it be a winner or a loser. I'm going to have an opportunity. I'm not sitting in front of the charts for hours and hours waiting for a specific chart pattern to set up, only to have it be one of the times where it doesn't adhere to its pattern and do something completely different. You know, I like this way of trading because I know the rules. I know where I'm getting in. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. I can flip the switch if I want to. If I feel as if the context is right, flip the switch, get in. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If it does, then manage the trade, but once I'm done, I'm done. So Nasdaq did break that level, and after having moved out my stop loss, I would have been taken out at break even. But as it did come back after I had moved it down. But these are the worst times. I hate this more than taking a loss, is seeing the thing just absolutely dive without you on board. I'll take a loss any day over watching the market move without me, especially when it's in the kind of in the realm of where my strategy said or dictated, you need to be short now, buddy. And I was short. And she moved 90 points without me. That's what we got to work on. and it's hard work. It's not easy. It's really, really not easy. You know, you watch all those videos and you read the books and they say just do this and do that and this is what you have to do. And you got to change your mind and you got to think this way. But when you actually have to do it, it's a different ball game. When you're actually in the moment and the market is moving and the numbers are either climbing or falling, to actually get yourself acclimatized to that, I think it's just repetition. It has to be just repetition. Do it over and over and over again, and eventually it's second nature. But in the beginning, it's not easy. Oh, someone sent me a WhatsApp message. Dinner's ready. Wonderful. Thank you, love. Well, on that note, with dinner being ready, I think I'm going to call it. Hour and 10 minutes almost, so I think that's good for a first day's spot of trading on YouTube. I'm going to go now, eat some dinner, and then do my post-trading analysis, go through those trades that I took, go through this video that I'm recording, start making some mental notes, start, reinforcing that foundation. And tomorrow, hopefully start making steps towards galvanizing it and actually doing it. So yeah, I think I'll call it a night. Thanks everybody. If anybody actually does watch this video, highly doubt it, but if it does happen to make its way into your YouTube feed and you decide to click on it, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my yammering. And I'll be back tomorrow with the EU session. So thanks very much. Bye bye.